Hi guys, Cheryl Capelli here with Family Mortgage Team at Leader One. There has been a lot of information in the news about iBuyers, especially here in the Atlanta market, and about how it makes it faster, cheaper, and easier to sell your home. So I did a little research and I put together a presentation that I want to share with you to help you make a decision on whether you should be using an iBuyer or a local real estate agent to sell your home. So give me a second. I'm going to switch screens real quick and then we'll go from there. All right, here we go. My fancy dancy little presentation. There we go. So should you be using a realtor or one of these newfangled iBuyers? Nowadays, more than ever, you have a lot of options when it comes to selling your home, and you really have some good choices. But should you work with a local real estate agent or a faster, cheaper, better iBuying company? Well, you have to realize that there are a lot of new and heavily financed tech companies that have actually jumped into the real estate market. But I have to ask, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Now, the most familiar iBuying tech companies are Opendoor, OfferPad, and Zillow. But in this presentation, we're just going to assume that your only options to sell your home is to go with one of those iBuying or with a traditional real estate agent. So let's get into it. For you, the homeowner, to make the best choice on who should work with you really comes down to a couple of really simple questions. First and foremost, how do you make the most money? I know that that is the number one question on my mind for selling my home. But a close second is who will give me the best service? Because I don't care how cheap a service is. If I'm not getting the best service, I'm not going to use them. Then you should probably ask yourself if you're being dealt with honestly. And does your choice actually help or hurt your community, the one that you live in? The vast majority of home sellers actually become buyers in the same community that they are selling their home in. Most of the times when you're selling a home, you're actually selling it to move up. You already have children or your family has grown and you need a bigger house, but you don't want to leave the school system, so you're probably going to stay in the same community. There is a small minority of people that will move away, but for the most part, people who are selling a home are just moving up. All right, so how do you make the most money? This one, in fact, is easy. A seller really only needs to consider a couple of different variables. First, who is going to buy my house for the most money, and who is going to charge me the least to help me sell it, right? That's it. Those two questions. That's really how you're going to make the most money. All right, so let's look at some math. But first, just understand that the three big iBuyers, Opendoor, OfferPad, and Zillow, don't actually charge what they deem commissions. But let's be frank. It's commission. They just call it something else. It goes to their bottom line. So to keep the confusion down in this presentation, we're just going to call it a commission. Okay, that's what we're going to call it. All right, so Opendoor is charging 7.5% currently in their commission. OfferPad is also charging 7.5%. Zillow happens to be a little bit cheaper at 7%. However, in 2018, the average commission a local real estate agent charged across the country was only 5.08%. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that if you are looking for lower commissions, then Opendoor is not the best, neither is OfferPad, and Zillow, even though it's slightly cheaper, is not the best, but your local professional real estate agent is. And so contrary to what you're hearing on the news, this is the clear winner. All right, so let's do a little bit of math. I know this is not your favorite subject, but it is one of mine. So if you sold your home for $300,000 today, and you went with Opendoor, you would pay 7.5% commissions, which is $22,500. With OfferPad, you would pay the same thing. With Zillow, you're going to pay slightly lower at 7% commission, so only $21,000. However, if you were to use your local realtor, you're only going to pay 5.08%, which is $15,240. So just based on this math, if you were to use that real estate agent locally, you would be saving yourself anywhere between $6,000 and $7,000. And oh, let's not forget unknown fees for all three of these iBuying companies. However, your local real estate agent has no hidden costs. They only charge you a commission. So this actually surprised me when I started digging into all of this. So I'm imagining it's a little bit of a surprise to you as well, because after all the news that you hear is that it's cheaper, faster, and better. And technology in general makes things cheaper, right? But not in this case. All right, so let's look at some real world examples. This first blurb up here is an actual offer from Open Door. And as you can see there, Open Door charges a $19,434 Open Door experience charge. So in this particular offer, that $19,434 is actually the 7.5% fee that they charge, the experience charge. Then you can also see that there are some repairs here of $62.10. And I'm going to kind of go back to that a little bit later, but what I want you to know is that when you work with one of these iBuyers, there is no negotiation on the repairs. However, if you do work with a local real estate agent, oftentimes they can negotiate with the buyer to pay less, right? But because Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow are the buyers, there is no negotiation. All right, so look at OfferPad there. You can see there that OfferPad is giving a seller credit to the buyer at 7.5%. And you might be thinking to yourself, yay, credits are good. But you got to remember, like I said just a second ago, OfferPad is the buyer. So this is a seller giving the buyer, OfferPad, 7.5%. So that's actually not a credit to the seller, it's a credit to the buyer, and it impacts the seller's bottom line negatively. Then we also see again here a repair credit. Now I couldn't get my hands on an actual Zillow offer, but what I did do was take this little blurb from their minutes at their last board meeting, and you can see here that it says that they're driving profitability over time. Their home acquisition cost, which is recorded in inventory, which is the homes that they bought on their balance sheet, is the sales price recorded in the MLS net of Zillow's service fee, which is approximately an average of 7% plus an estimated renovation allowance and some closing costs. So that's what Zillow is charging people, 7% plus renovation allowance and some closing costs. So again, when I started digging into this, I needed to go back and look at some history. And we've all heard that a listing agent can charge up to 6% to the seller. Well, I looked at some historical data, and you can see here that the last time that the average agent commission was 6% or more was back in 1992. And over the years, that commission has fluctuated with market conditions. But what I want you to really understand from this information is that right now, or in 2018, the average real estate commissions was 5.08. But the real takeaway is that there is room for negotiation, unlike Open Door, OfferPad, or Zillow. There's no negotiation with them. Okay, so surprise, a traditional local professional real estate is by far charging the least. I just showed you that. I mean, I showed you some facts, right? So let's do a little compare and contrasting. The iBuyer actually makes more money when the seller makes less. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But the local real estate agent makes more money when the seller makes more, and I'll also explain that here in a second. First, iBuyers, their goal is to flip your home. So when the seller takes a lower offer, the iBuyer stands to make more money. They make money on the flip, the commissions, and the fees. So they make their money on three different areas here. Now, the local real estate agent is paid on a percentage of your sales price, and that's it. So the more you make, the more the agent makes, and that is the only way a real estate agent makes money on a transaction. So case in point here, you can see here in this Wall Street Journal article, this is an actual article, beige 3-bedroom house with a gravel yard sold last month for $240,000. The seller, Open Door Labs Inc., paid $215,000 for the house in January. They replaced the carpet and repainted it and put it back on the market. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know of any home that has carpet replaced and repainted for $35,000. Sorry, $25,000. But still, Open Door got the seller to take a $25,000 less price for the house in January so that they could put a little bit of lipstick on it and turn around and sell it for $25,000 more. And they charged them a commission and probably a repair allowance. The seller probably actually paid for that carpet and repainting, and they didn't even know it. Okay, so let's compare and contrast again. We talked about that Open Door makes more money when the seller makes less. The agent makes more money when the seller makes more. We already established that. However, the iBuyer tries to convince you to sell lower because remember, they're making that money on the flip, the commissions, and the fees. So they want to buy your house at a lower price. However, the real estate agent wants to make more money themselves, so they're negotiating top dollar for you unless you instruct them otherwise. I've already showed you that these iBuyers charge higher commissions, and the real estate agents charge the lowest commissions. We also talked a little bit about those hidden fees. These iBuyers have a ton of them. But your local real estate agent has no hidden fees. Remember, I told you that the only way that they make money is in their commissions. There's no additional fees in there. So I think that the clear winner here is not the iBuyer, but again, the local real estate agent. All right, so let's go on to the next question. Who's going to give you the best service? Well, Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow are headquartered in Seattle and or San Francisco, and that's where their agents live. Think they know you or your community? Probably not. However, the local real estate agent does live in your community. These iBuyers primarily communicate with emails, text, and automation, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's a great thing. I love my emails, my text, and automation. But with a real estate agent, you have the choice. They can call you, text you, email at your pleasure, or they will come to your house and talk to you over coffee and get to know you and your family, your hopes and dreams and fears. And I think there's an added benefit to that when you're talking about purchasing a home. These iBuyers know nothing about you, but your local real estate agent, because they've come to your house and sat down with you and had coffee, knows exactly what is going on in you and your family's lives. These iBuyers don't know anything personal about your neighborhood, but your local real estate agent does. Remember, they live in your community, and so they are happy to recommend a great place for lunch, a fantastic mechanic, or a great pediatrician for your child. Those all things are very important when you live in a community. These iBuyers, after you close, they are done with you, and you never hear from them again because they got their money. Now, one of these things that you need to realize is that iBuyers do have a fiduciary responsibility, but it isn't to you, the seller. It is to their shareholders. They're a tech company, not a real estate company. With a real estate agent, they're not going to leave you high and dry. You probably just made a new friend, and I guarantee you that if you need a roof or if you need a plumber or an electrician, if you call your local real estate agent, they have a vast network of people that can help you and they can get it done quickly for you. So utilize them. They're your new best friend. These iBuyers are motivated by money alone. However, agents are motivated by their community-based reputation. Remember, they live in the community with you, and they also have a fiduciary, but that is to you and no one else. They represent you the best that they can. So again, I think here that the loser in this equation is the iBuyers, and the clear winner is your local real estate agent. So next question you might be asking yourself is, are you being dealt with honestly? Look, you can just Google iBuyer and take a look at what's being pulled up. As I read it, it's as if there's a campaign against real estate agents to convince sellers that iBuying is the cheaper, better, faster platform and that real estate agents are all out to get them. But as you can see in my presentation, I'm using real offers from real iBuyers, and I'm giving you honesty and clarity. And with those things, you can tell that it is not the case that you're being dealt with honestly and that real estate agents are out to get you. I mean, in fact, they're local, they have a fiduciary responsibility to you, and they don't make money if you don't make money, okay? So they have an invested interest to deal with you honestly. And then I just want to take a moment here to remind you that I'm not a real estate agent. I don't have a vested interest in this. I am just concerned about the people in my community. I've lived here since 1973, and I want to make sure that sellers are provided some facts and are educated so that they can make the right decision for them. Maybe going with an iBuyer is the best thing for you because you need to move out quickly, but maybe it isn't. Just know what you're getting into. Okay. So again, are you being dealt with honestly? Let's take a look at this real offer from OfferPad. And I'm going to be honest with you. After 15 years in the mortgage business, I have never in my life seen such a confusing offer coming from a buyer. It's ridiculous. There are fees on here that I have never even heard of or seen before. Why? Well, because they didn't even exist before OfferPad came up with them. So it's my opinion that an offer given to a seller, especially one without the benefit of the years of experience that I have in the real estate business, is only done so with the intention of confusing them and influencing their decision-making process. This is not at all clear and is very confusing to the average consumer. Okay, so this is another actual offer from Open Door. Same thing. Just look at the names of the fees on here. I mean, an experience charge, market risk. What the heck is a market risk fee? I don't even know. So why are they using terms that nobody in real estate has ever used? And why don't they just use the term commission, just like a traditional real estate agent? Because essentially that's what this is. But they are pulling the wool over your eyes and using a different name to confuse you. When we look at some of the articles out there, it appears to be a complete two-pronged approach to slander the local real estate agent, what they do and what they charge for their services, and to put favor on these easier but more expensive iBuying platforms. Makes me really question the honesty that is actually coming out of these iBuyers. Okay, lastly, does your choice help or hurt your community? These iBuyers, when they take your equity and when they charge more than the local real estate agent, they are taking money out of your pocket and out of your community. That money goes across the coast to Seattle or San Francisco, which are two of the hottest and most robust economies in the country. They don't need more help. Your local community does. And when you work with a local professional real estate agent who lives in your community that will actually take a lesser commission check and then turn around and spend those dollars back into your community, it is keeping the money in the community and it keeps it strong. And that way, Everyone wins, not someone out in San Francisco or Seattle. Okay, so again, are we helping or hurting? When the iBuyer sells your home below market value, which is what they're doing, they're offering you below market value for your house, that lower comp or comparable hurts others trying to sell their homes for top dollars. Your neighbor is going to be directly impacted by the fact that you took a lower price for your house. So this is eroding everyone's values and ultimately hurts your community. Conversely, when you sell with a local professional real estate agent and they fight on your behalf to get the very best deal, everyone wins. Home values are protected, as well as your equity, your community, and probably your next purchase. So what's the conclusion here? You, the seller, are being sold a bill of goods from the iBuyers that prey on your limited knowledge of real estate, your belief in technology, and the assumption that an old system is broken. It's not that the real estate industry and sellers cannot benefit from technology. I know I have. In 15 years, I've gone from handwriting applications to doing everything electronically, and you even sign electronically. So I'm not down on technology. But in its current form, this is not a benefit to sellers. To be clear, iBuyers are costing sellers more money and cannot in any way, shape, or form give better service. They aren't even here. In fact, it appears to be a calculated and intentionally misleading offer. So when you sell low with iBuyers, you are hurting your neighbors and your community and the overall values in your neighborhood. So please, don't buy into this latest craze. It's harmful, deceptive, and unfair to sellers. Working with a local professional real estate agent is your best bet when selling your home. And again, remember, I'm not a real estate agent, but I work with some of the best in the business. They're my referral partners, my friends, and I I love doing business with them. So if you are in need of a real estate agent, whether you're selling or buying, please don't hesitate to give me a call. That's my cell phone number. That's my email address. And I would love to help connect you with someone that you need to talk to. All right, guys, thanks for listening to my presentation, and hopefully this will help you if you decide to sell your home. All right, thanks.